She might want you to start over.
No, it's fine.
Okay. So when the US Army left, they took all the files with them. The only thing they left were these two documents. So first, you have the headstone inscription and interment record. Basically, what this tells you is what will be engraved. So everything you see here is what you could see on the marker. Here you have the service number. But what is more interesting is what you can see below. So here, Henri-Chapelle, that's here, and the location we went to. But if you look below, you have temporary cemetery, and you have another location that's different from the one you see here. 2040, it's Henri-Chapelle temporary cemetery. So this tells you he was buried here during the war, because sometimes there were temporary sites at other places in Belgium that closed at the end of the war, and the ones that closed meant that the remains had to be moved. This was not the case here. He was already buried in Henri-Chapelle. Sorry. The location is different because, as I told you earlier, the site was way bigger than it is today. I'm going to show you pictures. And so when the repatriation happened, it's roughly 60% of the service members that were repatriated. They had to reorganize the site because they were buried randomly. And if you remove 60%, then you have a site with one headstone here and three here, and it doesn't work. So they reorganized everyone. It was also a way to make sure they didn't make any mistakes during the war. The record, and it's a sad one, is 409 burials in a day. So you can imagine that with that much work, they wanted to make sure that everything was correct. We don't have any stories of any mistakes being made, but that shows how thorough they wanted to be.
So I have a question.
Yes.
They have their dog tags on yet for identification?
Most of them. Some were not identified, so they didn't have any markers, but for those who were identified, yes, usually they had their
and
dog tag.
do they bury them with the dog tag?
Usually they should, they sent, I know some family members had received dog tags, so I don't know the exact process that was going on at the time. Maybe through the National Archives you could find more information on that detail, but I know some families had them. So I assumed at least one of the two were sent with the belongings, but I couldn't be 100% sure. To know the belongings, and that's the document I mentioned earlier, there is the IDPF you can request. I'm going to go over the details afterwards. And on there you will find a list of the belongings that were sent to the family. So you should be able to see if it was in there. I'm just going to show you a few things here. That's it. So this is to show you what I explained, the change in the site. So this was the cemetery in 1947. So as you can see, it looks far bigger than it is today, although it's already big today. And this means that the site is a bit different. So you have the road here. This is the point of view where you see the flag. The yellow line, it's the cemetery now, but the green line, it's the cemetery then. So you can see that it's almost twice the size. It was almost twice the size. The second document here, again, at first you have the same information, but then you have the date of final burial. So the date of final burial, as I explained, it's when they moved him from this location to this location within the same cemetery. And the final burial was in 48. This is where they did the funeral ceremony with the chaplain. We actually have footage of that, not for him, but footage of how they did it at the time. We don't know who they are burying, but we see the chaplain saying prayers. It's without sound, so I can't tell you exactly what he's saying, but you can see he's reading from the Bible, and flags on the caskets and everything.
Would this one have been after his parents said
Yes.
they wanted a permanent burial in Belgium?
Yes.
Okay.
They would do that only if they knew that the service member
family.
was going to stay, of course. This is not to say that no ceremony was held during the war, but it was shorter, depending on the day. As I said, if you have 409 burials in one day, you have to make it shorter.
409 in one.
Yeah, that's the
Average.
no, that was the highest number we've had here, from what we could find, and it was during the Battle of the Bulge. So as I said, I made copies of these for you. I'm going to leave them here.
I don't know if Corinne, the original cemetery paper?
Which one?
The picture?
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
this one?
Yeah. Is there a copy of this
I can make one for
in
you.
there?
No, but I can.
I don't think.
Make
I
one.
remember seeing that before. Corinne would
Me either.
probably be interested in that.
And
I'm
those
going to
were
make
probably
one.
little wooden crosses.
Yes, so they were wooden at the time. They would paint the name black on it with a stencil and with the serial number underneath. And they were basically buried as soon as they were identified, which meant it was roughly following the dates, but depending on how long it took to identify them, it might change. And this created a randomness that was kept today, because the idea is that everyone is equal in death. And so they didn't want to have the officials on one side and the private on another side. So that's why they kept this randomness. And as you could see when you went out, although now it's marble and not wood, we still have the same idea of like white markers and the grass behind it. This is the first Belgian team to work here. And you don't see it very well here, but you can see behind the office, what used to be the office. I have pictures if later you want to see that. We have pictures of the time and how it used to look. So I will make a copy for you. So this is for after. This is a certificate. It's from our website, but we give that to all family members. Again, basically the information that was on the marker. I'm going to put it like that. A picture of him. We have a better quality one, but it's, as you can see, the same picture.
Now, in the booklet out here.
We still need to add a lot of pictures,
Okay.
so he will be added.
Okay.
We do it a page at a time.
I thought
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah,
you rotated
exactly.
stack up.
No, the idea
photos
is
in.
to make it like,
Full, complete.
well, complete. That's not going to be possible. We know that, but as complete as we can. We now have approximately 2,000 pictures on the 8,000 buried, but as you said, is as time allows, because we are running everywhere. And whenever we can, and it's mostly in the winter, we add pages because we have
Not
less
so busy.
visitors.
That's the one in the corner here.
Yes, exactly. This is from Ancestry. It's a timeline for him. We print it every time, just in case you might be interested. It comes. Sorry, the sources come from the archives. That way, why you can see the census and everything. This is what we received from Corinne.
Your
Mhm.
sister.
Yes.
I caught a
So
glimpse
we have it in PDF. So the copy is not great, but if you want a PDF version, I can send it to you as well. So we have
That's in all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm sure.
this, and then we have other pictures. Oh, they're not in the port. Up this way. So all of this I printed. We have like the obituaries and then excerpts, letters, and then at the end citations. Oops, that's not part of it. That's something I added. Okay, so that's so you can know what she sent us. This is his enlistment record. So here is what was filled for him. So we know he was 23 when he enlisted. We have the location where he enlisted, and sorry, I can't read backwards. It says that as he was a student, his employers was the State Teachers College, and so that's, I think, always interesting to see.
Where was he going to college, Donna?
Peru.
Okay.
I think got like a 2-year.
Well, that's all it took for teaching a certificate back
He
then.
might have even taught without that and then went back to school. I'm not sure.
And then you have color of his eyes, his height, his weight, things like that. The copy I mentioned is here. Thank you. Newspaper clippings we had. So we added
I've
them
seen
as
those.
well.
In the notebook.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think there were as well in what we see. This is from a book that's called World War One Order of Battle. It's on the division level, so it's not very precise because depending on the battalion or regiment, they might be dispatched. But it gives you an idea of where they went, basically. So looking at the date, we can see that on the 3rd of January 45, the division had elements surrounded in the woods east of Saint-Hubert and was halted near Piron-Pré, west of Bastogne. So Battle of the Bulge and the Bastogne area. The Battle of the Bulge started December 16th and lasted until the end of January. So it was right in the middle of the Battle of the Bulge. So I added that as well because it gives you a bit more information. These are our brochures, so I'm not going to go over that. I'm just going to show you this. This is a brief history of the cemetery with other pictures and a bit of explanation. So this is always, I think, interesting to see. This is about our Memorial Day ceremony, if one day you want to attend, what to do, what to expect. And this is what...
Do you celebrate Memorial Day the same day as...
So we do
America?
it on the Saturday before.
Okay.
So usually for this year it was on the 24th.
Yep.
Because if we do it on a Monday, because it's not a national holiday here, people won't be attending. So we always do it on a Saturday. This document, it's internet research tools, official and non-official websites that can give you more information. I know you already have a lot, but just in case. The one I would recommend requesting is the IDPF, Individual Deceased Personnel File. It's basically like the Army Service Records, but from the time of death to the time of burial. And in there you will have all the information that went between the family and the government. And you will also find reports that were filled in when he was buried here. So it's basically the documents that the army took with them when they left. It can be difficult to read because at one point they will tell you the state of the remains and the cause of death. It's not a mortuary report, so it doesn't go into details, but it's still a military document, so they are blunt. It's sometimes one word or a few. It's not gruesome, but I still always advise that you be careful.
Be prepared.
So, because depending on people, it might be more difficult to read. Sometimes you will find a location where he was found. You can also, in some files, some are big, some are not. If it was difficult to find him, you might see a small map of the area. or comments, things like that. If for a few days he was missing and then recovered, you will have that as well in there. And you will also have the document your relative signed, making the decision for him to stay here. So as I said earlier, sometimes you have comments explaining why. More often than not, it's just a signature because we can imagine it was difficult to make that decision. For a lot of families, it was for religious reasons or the fact that he was already buried and they didn't want to move them. But there could be as many reasons for doing it as there are service members buried here. If you do request it, I would request the Army Service Records as well, because this would give you where he went. The only issue is there was a fire in the National Archives in the 70s, and 80% of the files were destroyed in that fire. But it's still a 20% chance that it's here. So if you are asking for the other one, I would ask for this one just in case. The only thing they can tell you is no, sorry. You have the email here. You can send an email, and then you need to give basically the information that's here: his name, his unit, his service number, time of date of death, date of birth if you have it, and then this way they can find the information for you. They might ask for a fee because they need to appoint someone to do it. The other option is going yourself and looking into the archives yourself and then scanning it yourself. It's free, but then you have to go there. So,
Is it in Washington, D.C.?
St. Louis,
Oh, St. Louis.
Oh.
in the archives in St.
Road
It
Louis.
was just there.
So,
That's only 7 hours from
so
us.
if you have the option, that's also an option. And this way, usually they don't charge you because you just do the research yourself. So that's it for everything I had to share. I'm going to add the picture here for you. So this compiles everything we had on the computer and in our paper file.
Thank you so much for your
Yes,
time today.
that was
No
amazing.
problem.